Okay, what if you could have a social superpower? Seriously. Today, we're opening up the playbook that pretty much gives you exactly that. The ability to really understand what people are thinking and feeling just by paying a little closer attention. I mean, of course you have, right? We've all been in that spot. Maybe it's a big meeting, a first date, or even just a casual chat with a friend, and you just get that gut feeling that there's something else going on under the surface. You're just wishing you had the decoder ring for it.
Well, here's the good news. The secret isn't some kind of magic mind-reading trick. Nope, it's actually grounded in real proven psychology. We're talking about observable patterns and behaviors that, once you know what you're looking for, tell a pretty amazing story.
Now take a look at this number right here, 38,000. That is not just some random number I pulled out of a hat. It represents something really, really specific to what we're talking about. Any ideas what it could be?
That number, 38,000, that's how many people are Googling how to read people every single month. So yeah, if you've ever wanted to kind of level up your social intelligence, you are in very, very good company.
So, the interest is obviously there. The demand is huge. The only question left is, are you ready to learn the first few plays from this social superpower playbook? All right, let's dive in.
Okay, so our first play starts from the ground up, literally. We're talking about the feet, which I like to think of as the unconscious compass. And here's why they're so important. They are one of the most honest parts of the body, mainly because almost nobody ever thinks to control them. This whole idea is based on a principle called directional body language. You see, deep down at a subconscious level, our bodies, and especially our feet, have this tendency to point where our mind actually wants to go. It's kind of this primal instinct, right? A holdover from when we had to be ready to bolt towards food or away from a saber-toothed tiger in a split second.
And you know what? Decoding this is incredibly simple. If someone's feet are pointed right at you, that's a fantastic sign. They're engaged, they're interested, but start noticing if their feet slowly start to pivot towards the door. That is a huge and super subtle clue that their brain is already looking for the exit, even if they're still smiling and nodding at.
Awesome. Let's move on to our second play, the mirror. Now this one is a little different. It's less about just reading someone and more about actively building a connection with them. It is such a powerful tool for building rapport almost instantly.
So this is rooted in something that psychologists call the chameleon effect. It's basically our brain's shortcut to building trust. When we unconsciously mimic the posture or the gestures of people we're vibing with, our brain is sending a really simple signal. It's saying, hey, I'm like you. We're on the same team. You can relax.
But, and this is so crucial, there is a huge difference between mirroring and mocking. Mirroring is subtle. If they lean in, maybe you lean in a few moments later. If they use a certain hand gesture, you might use a similar one later on. Mocking, on the other hand, is when you immediately and obviously copy every little thing they do. That's just weird and disrespectful. Subtlety is absolutely everything here.
All right, and for our final play today, we are shifting gears from nonverbal cues to something verbal. This is the power pause, and it's a remarkably simple technique to make everything you say carry more weight and more authority.
Just think about the most confident speakers you've ever seen. They're not afraid of silence, are they? They use it. A power pause is just that, a deliberate, maybe 2 or 3 second silence right after you've made your most important point. It literally forces the other person to stop and actually think about what you just said.
And it is so easy to do. You just state your point clearly, like, our number one priority has to be the customer experience. And then you pause. You just let that silence do the heavy lifting. That quiet moment gives your words incredible weight and makes people take you seriously.
So, there you have it. 3 new plays for your social playbook. But like any kind of power, it really is all about how you use it. This isn't about trying to manipulate people. It's about gaining a deeper understanding and forging a better connection.
So as you go out there and start noticing these things, just remember, you're looking for patterns, not just one single cue. One time someone's foot points away could mean anything. But if it's a pattern, well, that's telling you a story. Use this to understand people better, not to get one over on them, because the real goal, always, is connection.
You know, I think this quote from the legendary management consultant Peter Drucker just sums it all up perfectly. The real conversation is so often the one that's happening beneath the surface, in the pauses and the postures. Learning to hear that silent language, that is the real key.
And really, that just leaves us with one final and pretty important question.
you now have the first few pages of a really powerful playbook. So the only thing left to ask yourself is, how are you going to use it?